Mr. Garner's death is one of several recent incidents across our great country that have tested the sense of trust that must exist between law enforcement and the communities they are charged to serve and to protect. This is not a New York issue, nor a Ferguson issue alone.
As the country seeks to find the proper course in solving the issues of race relations and the trust factor between cops and black America, the Attorney General of the United States is taking what he believes are proper actions. But these would, in the opinion of one man, be nothing more than another questionable move from a race baiter. Let's welcome to MidPoint. He's the sheriff of Milwaukee County and is called by some the widely quoted and tough-talking black sheriff, David Clarke. Sheriff Clarke, thanks for being here today.
Good afternoon. It's my pleasure.
Sheriff, indeed, I want to just make sure that you're being quoted correctly. Have you indeed said that Eric Holder is, without a doubt in your mind, a race baiter?
Yeah, without a doubt. That's a correct description of what I've been saying, and I can prove that point.
Prove it, please.
Well, first of all, as a position of Attorney General, he should be impartial, and he should measure his words and choose his words carefully, because when he speaks, America listens. And Americans, when they listen to our president, our attorney general, people in that position, they want to hear the individual talking to them individually. That means you have to speak to a diverse audience. And it seems to me, with some of the divisive language that he used in the days following the Ferguson, Missouri tragedy of Officer Williams having to use deadly force against Mike Brown. He went up there and basically indicted the profession of law enforcement as engaging in racial profiling, as being racist, and having some nefarious intent when they go out on the street to risk their lives and serve their communities. He gave several examples of where he himself was racially profiled, or so he said, because he has not produced one shred of evidence that law enforcement agencies engage in systematic or institutional or even policy-driven racist practices. And so I reject that notion out of hand.
Sheriff, what does he have to gain by all this? And again, there are those who agree with you and feel that everything that Eric Holder has done, and even the president has done, have been divisive politics that have come right from the White House. What do they have to gain by this? What's the end game?
Political posturing. All right, the president of the United States, with all due respect to the office and the person who holds that office, but he has engaged in and consistently engaged in a political strategy of divide and conquer. Okay, this fictitious war on women, pitting whites against blacks by fanning the flames of racial discord, this class warfare, the 99% versus the 1%, on and on and on.
But what's the end game, Sheriff? What's that end game of the president and the attorney general here, in your opinion?
To maintain their political power. In the essence of the attorney general, I think he's just trying to improve his black bona fides, that he's down with the struggle, and so he goes out there and he panders, playing to one segment of this community when, like I said, there's a lot of interest in this community that when you're the president or the attorney general, you have to play to.
Are they, in your opinion, then just black posers?
Well, yeah, I mean, we can come up with all kinds of labels. I just think when you hold those positions, Al Sharpton can be like that, all right? Al Sharpton can do that sort of thing, inflammatory rhetoric, baseless rhetoric, and, other people like that in those positions. They can do that, all right, but not the president of the United States. I just think that at a time when rational debate, discussion, and comments were called for, where leadership was called for, they got down in the weeds with some of the inflammatory rhetoric that was being thrown around, that law enforcement officers are racist. Like I said, that they systematically engage in racial profiling. That Officer Wilson murdered Mike Brown. And
well, let me ask you this, Sheriff. I've only got about 30 seconds left, and you just mentioned Al Sharpton, so let me put this to you. 30 seconds. Is Al Sharpton in the pocket of Eric Holder and Barack Obama, or are they in Al Sharpton's pocket?
Well, I think it's mutual. Al Sharpton said he's an advisor to the president. I would question the judgment of anyone who would use Al Sharpton for as an advisor. He's a divisive individual. He likes to stoke those flames of racial discord as well.
Does he insult you as a black man?
Oh, horribly. He doesn't speak for black people. The media gives him this perception that he does, but he doesn't speak for me, and he doesn't speak for black people in general. So I got to put some of the blame on the media for putting a camera and a microphone in front of that guy's face, that blowhard's face, every time he sticks his head up.
You'll be happy to know that we don't do that. Sheriff David Clarke, I want to thank you very much for your candid comments. If we don't speak before then, a happy holiday and a Merry Christmas to you and your family.
Merry Christmas to you. Thank you.
Take care. Short break, and there might actually be some good news for taxpayers from a lame duck Congress. Maybe. It's coming up on MidPoint.